Hello and welcome back to the channel. Last week we got all of this panelling. We got it all routed off and fixed in. We're just now waiting for the worktop to go on. It's going to come, I think, all the way across to here or something. And then there will be another unit coming up and over. Sorry for the noise, I've got the heater going. It's currently the 18th of Jan. It's another week on from fitting this. My deadline is going to be, I think it's 3rd of May. It's going to be the Gaydon Land Rover show. So I need to start cracking on with it really. So this week we're going to get this panel, we're going to get all the access panels cut out. I'm just going to put two holes in it again, the same as this. But then it will have panels that will just sit in for now, no hinges, because I found when your mattress is on here and you're kind of going underneath your mattress, it's easier just to pull the panel out and then dive in there than trying to like hold all the panel up and with your mattress above it that you're kind of sitting on, and I just find it's easier just to pull the panel out. So that's what we're going to focus on now. So I think because I had this little void in here, didn't I, where this angle of the tub comes down. So, oh no, it's all falling out. Joys of doing things one-handed. So, I'm not going to put a panel in here because it's going to be quite awkward to access. And if I'm going to put a big panel access hole in here, I think you can just reach through and shove stuff in here. So, yeah, so I'm going to measure it up. I need the thickness of the wood because of the panel coming down here. I need to measure far enough back so I don't start cutting into where this bottom of the tub is, and then figure out the biggest holes I can fit in here. And then I'm trying to decide whether I try somehow carefully cutting them out with the jigsaw so I can use the piece of wood from the inside as the panel, the infill panel, or just go bugger it, make a really nice cut all the way around so they're properly symmetrical, and then have another bit of wood to cut out the panels to fit in. So I need to have a think of what I'm doing with that. We'll see. We've also got to put some strengthening plates underneath. So if this is the top of this panel here, it needs proper reinforcement for the bit of wood behind here. It's going to stop the panel falling in. It's going to want something quite heavy duty to stop them dropping in. So that's another thing I will try and think about, and then we can get the spacing up. And I think I'll get a couple of screws just holding it in for now, because I've still got the Alpine seals to do that are leaking, and I can then just take this whole panel out. So I've got to build the end panel here as well, and the end panel. I can just take it out and leave it inside while I'm putting off doing that. I've also thought as well with the heater. So it has a proper pipe that attaches on here, but it's quite close. So I think what I might do, if I can find it, probably not now, is maybe put a bit of sound deadening on here maybe, because it's quite high temp stuff. So I think it's just going to help it a little bit. I don't think it's ever going to be hot enough to set on fire, but like it's a nice peace of mind when you're sleeping in there and you start smelling something burning, isn't it? So I think I might just put some of that on there, and then it has the pipe that's going to come up. But I might just stick that on for now, because I'm going to need that for the roof hole I'm going to have to drill out in the back. So anyway, I'm going to get all this lined up and then scratch my head a few times and then try and figure out where the holes are going. I found another leak point again. So where some numpty decided to rivet on the some metal panels on here instead of fixing the door properly, it's filling up inside and then running out these holes here. So that is another one on the list to fix. I thought they would be, to be fair. I've got to clean these off and fill them all anyway, but that's another thing I've got to try and stop. The fun of a 40-year-old Land Rover trying to make it waterproof. So I've got all that marked up now. I've got the little arrows to show where the cut line's going to be. So I've gone 15mm, where have I done here? Look, 15mm, and then guessed a little bit more, so I think that's about 3 centimetres in. Measured a little bit there off the edge, got it worked out there, look, so that's where the batten is inside, so I've just brought it back a little bit. So that's where that one's going to be. I've just come back off the edges a little bit. Look. This side I've left a little bit more, because this is where you're getting in and out the car. So I thought I'd leave a little bit more material there. And then I've done line to the middle point from them 2 lines, and then 5 centimetres out each side, so again it puts a nice thick support in the middle of the seats, well, middle of the big open panels, so there's plenty of strength coming through this bit. So now I'm going to put it up on the bench and then get it all lined out exactly where they're going to go, figure out the radiuses, and then figure out if I'm going to keep these panels. I think I'm just going to make a really nice job of cutting them out and then making panels to fit. I'm not sure yet, we'll have a think. I've got all that all marked out now. I ended up using one of the old offcuts from the last one I cut out to mark it, because I'm going to have a go with the jigsaw to do all of it. See if I can repurpose this. So what I'm going to try doing to try and get it into the wood is using a 2.5mm drill bit. So if I do a couple of passes with one of these, probably on the very back, like back middle maybe, so it's uniform each side, I'm not sure. Do a couple of them, just enough to get the blade down and in, and then I can run all the way around it then, and hopefully that's going to work. That was torture doing that. The bit is now burnt and knackered. It ended up bending, what do you call this, the carriage? It bent that because it was jumping so much, because it gets so hot, because this was too tight of a radius for it, and trying to get it around these corners. Some of them came out nice, like this one's not too bad, look, but then ones like this were awful. It's going to take a lot of sanding now to try and get everything straight. I think this little bit that I did with the drill is actually going to work out. That little tiny, where is it, there, won't be too bad. Most of that I think I can kind of get out with the sander. So I'm going to go at it now with the sander, and then bits there, and then get these routed off, I think. I'm going to get this piece, I might, ouch. That's how blunt it is, look. It blew the back out really badly. So I'm going to get some on the bottom of here, get that glued on, get this panel on here, and then get all the pocket holes drilled. I did think while I was doing this, I was like, you should have really measured here to make sure you could actually get a pocket hole in that way for the end panel, but worst case I can put one there, look, and nail it, so it's not too bad. There's going to be some down in here as well. So now about 3 hours of sanding, I think. That's all sanded eventually. I've got it the best I can. I've got a route around it now. Hopefully it comes out well. And I got that to sand. Look at this now. Like you buy one of these. Like I understand they're cheaper than what they used to be, but can you at least like make it last more than a couple of days? Like. They're not very good, are they? If they were double the price, but better, you'd still buy one. But, oh well. So now I've got to find some glue to stick that back on. But I think first I'm going to get the router out and play with that instead. So I've now flicked this board upside down. You can see now, look, you see how that it's getting a bit blunt now, them final cuts, like how it's blew it out at the back. That's what you don't want on the show face, isn't it? Luckily that's inside the cupboard. So I think only my pants are going to be seeing that. That panel is going to go on here. So now I'm going to pocket hole jig there for the end panel. I'll also do that in a minute as well. I think it's that side. One of the sides. And go all the way up the edge to fit it to that panel there. With some glue. You've seen me do it on the other one, so I'll just time lapse it again. So it turned out I didn't have you on time lapse, so you just had to painfully watch me deal with that in real time. And then the phone died. But I've got that done, wiped it all off, that's all done now. There's going to be a strip going along this edge for where the bed, because that's obviously part of the bed, then there's another bit of panels that are going to slot in and that'll be a unit. Anyway, I've cut this bit, and that's going in between there, underneath. Stop the panels falling through. I've got it cut and I've just routed, if it focuses, no, routed the edges off. I'm just going to sand them now with another sander and stick it on the underside of there, and then I think I might start sanding them panels and get some holes put in them so we can hook them out. I've got 2 more bits to go on there. So. So I've saved you the joy of watching me sand those. So they're all sanded, ready to router off. That's all fitted on in the middle. Everything's all sanded. There's loads of screws going up in this section here to put as much strength into these bits as possible, because when you're sitting on that, all the weight's going through this panel, and I've ripped one of them off on my previous build and had to try and hold it on a bit better, so I've belt and braced this one. It's still got to have the one in there, but I want to put the end panel on because the pocket holes are here and here. So get them screws in with the end panel, then put panel there and panel there, and then the easy router in, and then I'm going to put a hole in the centre. I might do a couple of holes, I'm not sure, but yeah, anyway, a hole in there for a finger hole. They're all nicely sanded now, nicely routed. I've also just took the edge off the other side. I've routed it not as hard in here because it routes over half the thickness of the wood. If that makes any sense. Like if I put the router on the other side and try and round this, it will take way too much off. It will like come back to like here, because the roller is going to be sitting further in on this edge. So that's all done, nice and smooth. Done it with 180 grit, and then I believe that one is at this panel. Might be wrong. I'm going to do it one-handed so you can see the idea. So I need a bit of support on this side, but right, there we go. I think actually that is that panel, because I think then the grain will meet, so you can see the grain's going to match as well. Quite nice. Not that it really matters, but nice to know. So that's it again for today. Next I think I'm going to put this strip on. It's going to be a bit of 15mm strip, so it's the same thickness as that for the bed to sit onto, all the way along, probably about that deep, so not too much. So that strip's going to go on, then it can get troll fitted. This end panel can be made and fitted on, and then the little supports, and then that one's all done. So yeah, that's it for another day. It's a new day, and I've got all this sat in now. It's all sitting quite nice. I've measured here, it's actually perfect. The gap there, that's I'm quite surprised by it really. It's dead on 55.5. So next I'm going to do is make the end panel like this one. So I want to get it in because I can't remember the grain, so I need the grain to go that way. So I want the grain that way. So yeah, I'm going to make this panel. It's going to sit nicely all the way down to this notch. Sit straight on that end. So I'm going to make that bit, and then I need to cut these bits here, the little battens that go on here and here, so the bed base is sitting here. But I can't get the table saw down. I can't get the circular saw down it. So I think I might see if I can go see my dad and get him to run it down on his table saw, because these can always go on last if I really have to. Just these two bits. So yeah, figure out what I'm doing, find some wood and get that bit measured up and cut. So is it going to fit? I think so. Just fighting a little bit at that end there. But I think that's just because it's sitting up on that bit of sound ending. So that can come out. Ever so proud. You can just about see that. So we're sitting right. It's almost like that middle bit of the cut. Or it's either this wood's bowed a little bit or that cut weren't quite straight. But other than that, I think it's going to fit. I think we'll get that to fit. And then we can we'll get that to fit, and then we might be able to just sand this top corner off before routing it. It should be fine. I'll get all that mounted in. Routed, sanded, all sorted. So I've just got these little bits to put in here, like that thing. One to go here, one to go there, and then that panel is done and can go in then. there's the other panel done. Wow. Except the strip. Yeah. So I think I'm going to get that put in there now. And then figure out fixing points. I think actually I might put the brackets on the bottom of there first. Yeah, but let's put the 90-degree brackets on the bottom of there. Maybe one on the end. And then figure out where or how I'm going to fit this in. I did kind of mess up a little bit. I routed 2 edges on that bottom panel. But I've got them 2 there. And then I need something just to maybe go underneath here, just to support that, for it to sit on. Well, some screws are going to go down, so I might end up having to put screws coming down here. I won't use ply though, because you don't really want to put a screw in that way. Strong that way, quite weak going that way, so I'll get some normal wood batten or something to go on the other panel and get it marked up and get some holes in. I'll get some screws in. So the bed panel that I've just done is going to be sitting up to this edge here, because I was going to leave the top of this showing, say from the top, because that's where the panels here are going to hinge down onto. So the bed panel is going to be coming up to this edge. So what I need is something for it to sit on. So I've nicked some wood out the shed, literally out of the shed. It was part of my shelving because it was the right thickness. And I'm going to fit that onto here. As you can see there. Actually, I might bring it back. Should I? Should I not? Should I put it there? Just thinking, should I put a panel in? If I really fancy it in here. Make it across. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. I might just leave it. It's not going to hurt anything, is it? So if I bring that 15mm away from that edge, screw that on there, and then the bed panel can then screw down into this piece here. Shouldn't be too difficult. So I've just trimmed that down a little bit more because it was quite close coming up to where that brace is to stop the bed panel falling in. So that's going to sit flush with this edge, so the bed sits nice and flush with the other panels that are going to, I can probably show it. So that's where the lids are going to come down for the cupboards. So I want it so the bed sits the same height, so that needs to be flush with there. And then if I'm putting a panel in here, instead of measuring 15, then I might as well just use a piece of wood to get my distance. So that's roughly where it's going to have to be. I wanted to have it that way so the nicer wood's out, but it has a bow in it because I think it was some old pallet wood. So I'll just put it on that way. It doesn't move at all. So belt and brace it, glue and big wood screws. At least it comes out really easy. There we go. I've got my little clamp. It's going to get right in the way where you're sitting. Move it back. So roughly get that on, so it's going to go that nice edge at the top, roughly around there. Get this edge set. That's nice. It's a nice edge. So I've got these screws that I found. I like using spack screws. Can you see it better? No. There you go. I like using spack screws. I just think they bite a lot better. They're a little bit more expensive, but I think they they do work a bit better. I remember actually last time I did the building, my old one, snapping screw heads off on like the finished surface. Oh, there was some swear words. Right, so I'm going to put some in from the back. So I'm not actually going to put the screws all the way in. Yeah, I'm just roughly going to put in where they're going to go. Again, you're not going to see anything in this cupboard. There's another one about there. About there. That's how many screws have I got? Pocket. As that's how many are going to go in. 4. Well, we're going to have to put 4 in then. So I've just roughly shoved them in for now and pulled them back out. And I'm going to get a little countersink bit and just it's like a cheap. I'm cheating out basically, not drilling it. So I'll just countersink them a bit. Can you see why camper builds take so long to do? I don't understand how people can do them in a week. I've just found a 5th screw rolling around. So let's put that one in. There we go. They're in, and that's in. The screws have three ends have literally just slightly poked out, but I'm not really too worried by that. I'll just run a little file on them now. Just take the edges off, and then I'm going to go get the brackets on that panel to go in here, and then this panel can go in. I have this in now and sitting all nice. So the next step's going to be I'm going to measure, make sure the gap's perfect, and then you see them brackets I've just put on. I'm going to mark where each of the holes are, and then drill the holes out, and then rivet them in. And then once they're in, I'm going to get them pocket hole screws put in, and then I can start going down here. Actually, I need to mark where the battens are. so I can so I know where I'm putting the screws in. So that one's going to be all in there. That panel's all in now. It's all riveted in the bottom. There's little brackets. It's screwed down to the battens. Pocket hole screws going that way. You see it's all really nice and nice snug fit. Nice little access panels. And they'll both fit each side as well. They're not one side fit but switch one. With a little compartment around there. You kind of see what I mean now, that if I put a door in that little compartment on it, it'd just be a bit weird and I don't think it'd work. What I might do, if I can be bothered, is maybe put that little panel on the end. So I've still got this strip to put on and the other one on here, and then the boards to cut to go into here. It will be stored probably up here like I did on my last one. I'm still trying to get a piece of wood for the worktop. It's quite hard to try and find some live edge wood. There's only really one place that does it, and I'm waiting for him to come back, so it seems he's never there. But next I think I'm going to have a go doing that, start doing that in here. This little compartment. It's got all the bits of paper in there at the moment from doing the insulation, but obviously you've seen the fridge is going to go in here, so I'm going to make a shelf in the bottom for it to sit into, and some at each side. I've got to put an end panel on there, probably put another end panel on here and make a nice little box. The confusion, but I've got to get my head around is this compartment in here I'm going to have raised, so the chairs and the awning poles can fit underneath there. So this bit's easy here because you can just have a piece of wood coming up here, however high I'm going to have it. I'm not going to have it all the way up because I think that's just going to be pointless. So I need to put a chair in there and get a measurement of how high I want that bit of wood. I think it's going to come to about here, so I need to make like a false floor, so a little lip here across, and then somehow figure out how I'm mounting it here. I don't really want to put a board on that surface and going up. I don't think it's going to work very well. But then what I've also got to take into consideration is where that panel ends. So it's got to have like a weird, it's going to come down, and then it's going to have to like follow coming down still, and then like dog leg sort of thing, like maybe have a flat here. So the flat's going to be in here, and the top of the cupboards are going to be, so when you open the door up here you'll have like a cavity all the way down to here and a little raised bit across. So it's going to be a lot of storage really, but it's getting the head around how I'm going to make this. This bit's easy. It's just I've got to make something around here to mount the back of the hinges on for the for the cupboards. It's going to be strong enough to support that, and yeah, I'm not sure. It's going to be a bit of a head scratcher. I have a dilemma. I didn't allow room for where the gas bottle was going to go. So I'm waiting for under there now because I made it too low. I'm sitting like a lady. Oh fuck! I don't really want it over there, right next to the fucking heater, because that's just asking for it. So is it like it doesn't fit in that hole? I don't want panels on the out. I think it either I have a gas bottle externally up there that I'd rather not have because it scares me and people are going to nick it and it's scary, or I just leave it to roll around the back of the car. Oh, I've got to somehow fit it in here. What if... So I don't really want it in there. That means it's got to go over here, doesn't it? Oh, and then every time you want to turn the gas off, you've got to lift all the cushions up. Fuck. Hear me out. Removable worktop, so you can slot it out, slide the gas bottle down into there, and so when you want a cup of tea in the morning, you just reach under, turn the valve on, boom, kettle. And then again, when it's empty, flip the top up, or somehow make maybe some bolts in it or something, so you can just a couple of wing nuts. So what I think is actually going to work better is if I use some hinges in the top of the worktop, so you can just flip it up and then just change your gas bottle, and then you can lock it down in some sort of way to stop it bouncing. But anyway, this video is getting a bit too long now, so I'm going to call it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Any tips, please let me know. I hope you have a good week, and I hope to see you soon.